Yo, hey, how's everybody doing? Welcome to The Entertainer with Cadence Weapon. I am Cadence Weapon. Thanks for pulling up. This is the last of 4 that we've done here at Standard Time. Give it up for Standard Time for having us. And we've saved, I believe, the greatest for last. We're going to introduce Polaris Prize winner, Grammy nominee, and all-around multi-hyphenate artist, Lido Piminiteia. Do you mind if I just sit here? Is that okay?
Wait, should I be talking into the mic?
Yeah.
Oh, this is being recorded.
Yeah. All the talking mostly.
All right. And are you sure you don't want me to sit down and talk first?
No.
I have to go right away.
Well, you can talk for a second if you want.
This is like having sex without a condom, you know? Don't do it. It's okay, I'm going in raw. Sorry. Can children listen to this? Who's the audience?
The audience it's the same audience as Lido TV. Everyone. Right?
Oh well.
Este año y hora, y para ser feliz tuve que mirar, tuve que mentir para no volver, porque tenía miedo de empezar de pretending I care about or give a damn about my university. Oh, just making a name for myself, all by myself, in this overpriced city, living with 2 roommates that didn't appreciate that they were living with a living legend. Oh, they didn't know that they should have been nicer to me, because now nobody gives a shit about them. Nobody gives a shit about them, because they needed to know, because they were taller and skinnier and whiter and blonder than me. Oh, they were better than me, and definitely better than my son or any single mother. Oh, I love you, single mother. Oh, give it up for all the single mothers. Oh, I would do it all over again. I would raise my son again. Oh, I will raise my baby, who is 16 years old now. Oh, and he's the light of my life. And I can't believe that he's 16 years old when I am only 15 years old myself. I don't know how that happened. I don't know how is that possible. But here we are. I must be the Virgin Mary. Yes, I am. The real Madonna. Oh, yes, I am Madonna, but I'm not a Zionist, so you know, you already know I'm gonna take it there, because I don't give a shit. Oh, I don't. And I will do it all over again. I will raise my baby all over again, all by myself. Solita, solita, all by yourself. Soy sincero, si es que mañana muero y no le tengo miedo, pues soy mujer y llevo el dolor adentro. Soy mujer de lluvia, de sangre en luna, de tierra salidona, con amor sin duda. Y si es que mañana muero, de aquí yo no me muevo. No le tengo Te soy sincero y no le tengo miedo a la muerte. Si es que me quiere, aquí la espero de frente, sonriente. El dolor lo llevo dentro, el dolor lo tengo presente. Soy mujer de sangre en luna, de tierra sal y duna, y sin pena, sin duda. Lo llevo por todo lo que abandonaste, por todo lo que tú me quitaste, ya no me queda nada, no me queda nada, no me queda Okay, one more. One more. Te sentí peleando en la marea, peleando en la... Pero no me duele cuando te digo, pero no me ignores, me dieres, no exagero, eso que tú haces, eso que tú haces, eso que tú haces, no es amor. Será así y no me entregues. nada si no quieres, pero no me falles, me dueles. No exagero cuando te digo, pero no me ignores, me dueles. No exagero cuando colombiano y Palestina. Oh, from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine. From the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, del río al mar, Palestina en libertad. From the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Del río al mar, del río al mar, del río al mar, Palestina en libertad.
Wow, give it up. Lido Piminiteia. Oh my God. Wow. Lido. That was amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes. So Lido, that performance, can you explain what you performed? Like, what was the process of doing that? What did you just perform, and how did you do it?
These are two songs stripped down. I removed the percussion. We performed like a reduced version of the show with Owen Palette and my baby daddy, also known as Masaya. So I decided to keep this version that's like more stripped down because I knew that I was just gonna be performing by myself, and I knew that I could take over with like other layers. Also, these songs are from my iconic album Miss Colombia, and but I also did Miss Colombia was released in 2020, like basically like the day before they announced the global pandemic. So to me, and I started writing the music for this album in 2015. So when I played this music, I love these songs, but I'm also kind of tired of them, you know. I'm ready to play new music, do new music, but I'm not ready to show those songs yet. So I wanted to do like a little bit of both, like the direction that I'm going and the songs that some of you may know and love and support and have been supporting me for. And the first song is it's also in Miss Colombia, and as I've been performing it in the last year, the song has become a song about just like how much I love my son, and how, because I like me and my baby daddy number one, we just don't see eye to eye in so many things, and you know, anyone who is here, like either children of divorced parents or has children that they have to share with a former partner, it's like, and if you don't get along, it's just so difficult, you know. So this is really therapeutic for me, you know. I should be going to therapy.
You're not going to therapy?
No, I don't go to therapy. I buy shoes.
I can see how
it's the same.
I can see that it was therapeutic though while you were doing it. For the first one, was that the stuff you were doing? You were just improvising that, the stuff, some part of it, right?
Yeah, I improvise a lot, and I think me and Brandon are really like master improvisers. And because we now have 3 kids that we're raising together, we don't really have time to rehearse, so we have to like think on our feet. And I think just playing together for so long, me and Brandon have developed this like, it's just very natural for me to like write music and perform, and like because my music is so intense, like the themes are so intense, I always like to inject it with a little bit of humor. Otherwise we will all be crying here right now, and I don't want to do that. So yeah. I noticed when you were doing that, you really were able to change the atmosphere in the room completely. Like it was very captivating. It changed the weather or something. I was just wondering, like, when in your life did you realize you were able to do that? Maybe when I was singing, because I learned how to sing live first before knowing how to record or do any electronic whatever stuff. In Carnival, where I grew up in Barranquilla, Colombia. There are Colombians in this room right now. Exactly. That's the loudest ones. Keep it up. I like it. And so when I would think I must have been my first concert, I was 11 years old, and I was in a metal band.
A metal band?
Yes. So I was doing like Afro-Colombian music, Caribbean folklore, but I was also in this metal band.
What were they called?
We had many names. One of it was called Fogo, which is like the esoteric way to say fire. I never picked the names because I was like the youngest one. I was just like the little girl that like, my mom was a single mom and she had to travel so much. So like I kind of had to raise myself and my siblings, and like, so I would like go to these concerts. I went to university really young and this like art university program. So the people that were in my bands were like, in every music institution, there's always like the metalheads that take guitar, and they're all wearing the Dragon Ball Z t-shirt. So those were my first mentors, and they were the ones that were just gonna like, I feel like you have perfect pitch. And they would like play the piano, and then I would sing the note, and then they were like, oh, there is a band called Cradle of Filth. And the singer is this guy called Danny Filth, and he has many voices. You should listen to it. And I would study it, 12 years old, And like Danny Filth has like so many voices. Like he goes from like very like dark, deep guttural to very, very like alto soprano. So I kind of learned that in just like learning that and just like doing it. So like when I was like the time that I was 13, I had been in like 3 metal bands. Really? And like at this point, like when Limp Bizkit and Korn were like at the highest thing in Colombia, everyone wanted to be Korn and Limp Bizkit, I was doing that too, but I was also really into power metal. And to this day, my favorite band in that genre is called Fear Factory. And the singer in those days, Fear Factory, he also did that, like the guttural, but then he would go very melodic. So that always stayed with me. So like one of the favorite things that I like to do and improvising and everything live, because when you go on tour for like a month and you're playing the same songs, it's like you start like, you're just like disgusted by yourself. Like it's just like, you like hate everybody. It's just like, that's why you hear so many like dramatic moments of like, did you just see the Jane's Addiction like drama that they had? Like, I see that, and I'm like, yeah, that happens. Yeah. So improvising and like introducing like guttural into my songs that are very like, but then I like go into like the guttural. It just like wakes people up, you know.
I feel like no one in the world would have ever considered Cradle of Filth would be a part of your origin story.
Yes, and the album that I'm talking about, it's like a whole story about Elizabeth, who's this like concubine that like drinks blood, and like the cover is like it's this like white woman, like goth girl in like inside in a bathtub full of blood. But mind you, I'm in like the Caribbean coast of Colombia in South America. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was just so weird, like that I was into that, you know, and like and my family is indigenous on my mom's side and black on my dad. Like, I was a vegetarian. Like, it's just like, this girl is insane, you know. So that's just, you know, I think that's like the beauty of growing up in Latin America, you know, or like in any diaspora. And this was like a world without TikTok or Instagram too, you know. It's just like I would get the records at Tower Records. When Tower Records came to Colombia for the first time, I had no money, but I had friends who had money. And the friends who had money, they had no personality. They didn't.
Isn't it funny how that works?
They had no personality, they had no taste, but I had all of the personality and all of the taste. So I was like, do you want to impress girls? They're gonna love this album with this woman covered in blood. I was lying to everyone. And then I would end up with the albums because they hated them. You know, everything in life is a balance.
Yeah.
And I learned from very young, you gotta hustle, you know. So that was like how I started hustling, and then that's how I got into the bands, because the metal dudes, you know, they would talk, they were petrified. Like when they had to talk to my mom if I could go to a gig, you know. And my mom would just be like, just make sure she doesn't drink, because she doesn't smoke, you'll be fine. And to this day, I still don't drink, don't smoke, don't do drugs. I don't know what Coca-Cola tastes like, Pepsi tastes like, never had McDonald's. Like, I'm very straight edge.
Yeah.
Straight edge. But I have sex. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about me. I'm okay. That's basically how I started, you know. So by the time that I moved to London, Ontario, Canada, I was already very I knew who I was. You know, I knew who I was.
And how old were you when you moved to London?
I want to say it's like 17, 18, you know, like I was like an adult, you know, like in Colombia at 18, you're an adult. I mean, I thought that I was an adult. I wasn't. But you know, and it was like it was one of the coldest winters. London is like a snowbank. So you go from like beautiful Caribbean palm trees beach to like a snowbank, London, Ontario, Canada. Like, it's just, I even went to like the l'Alliance Française, you know, to learn French. Why do you speak French? That's like so useless. Like, no one speaks French in London, Ontario. So that was a waste. But it was really interesting, the whole thing. So, and then I wanted to be in metal bands here. It didn't work out.
Yeah, like what did you like try to join any bands here?
But I ended up in like, you know, the experimental noise scene in London, and I was introduced to it by this awesome guy called Colin. I don't know if you're from London, Ontario, you might know him. And I would like go to his apartment, and like the bedroom was in the living room. His studio was like, the living room was in the bedroom, you know, like it was like really interesting to see how this guy was just like, I was like, oh, I feel like we're kind of the same, you know, that's something I would do, you know. And then I started meeting all these other freaks in London, and they kind of embraced me. And then a tragedy happened. I fell in love with a man from Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah.
It was tragic. Columbus, Ohio. That was the first mistake, but I didn't know. I didn't know.
Damn.
Couldn't
Columbus.
he be from New York or LA? You know, Columbus.
Columbus takes another L.
Boom, and then my mom pretty much basically, it was kind of like, 'cause this is like a very immigrant, trigger warning for the immigrants in the room. But like in the street that we lived, there was a bunch of immigrants and their daughters were getting knocked up by like black African men or Central American men. And my mom was like, that will not be my daughter. My daughter will do it right. She will get knocked up by a man from Columbus, Ohio. He will be white and I will have a white grandchild. And I will take my white grandchild to the church and I will show him off like Simba.
And did that happen?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you not hear the first song that I did?
There you go.
But it's very hard, So, but I didn't know. I always didn't know. Like we were so young. Like if that's why we hate each other so much. Me and my baby daddy number one. I wasn't ready for it, but somehow music and art always managed to like be present in my life, and I always managed to like have art and art saving me, and when I started playing shows, my son was always there.
When did you realize you wanted to be a professional artist?
I just in my head I always was.
Yeah.
Like from Colombia, because in Colombia I was singing in front of like giant crowds in carnival, so like, and I had no amplification, so like that's why my voice is so crazy, because before I went, hi, yes, I haven't seen you in so long. Sorry. I'm back in London, Ontario, so that's why when I see people, I'm going, oh my God. Yeah, because I only talk to the trees and the...
Shout out to Gabe.
Yeah. And so in carnival, you are with like the drums, it's not a white guy with dreadlocks playing the drums. It's a different kind of drums. And you're in the middle, and then you have like 3,000 people on this side, 3,000 people on this side. Sometimes it's more. So you have to be louder than the drums, And I just learned how to project my voice, and like my singing voice is very like, but I can like go like, hey, and like you, and I did that when I was like in carnival, So like when you mix Afro-Colombian roots music, which is very like, it's the real trance, right? Like music, and then I'm listening to electronic, depressing music. Because that was a realization when I moved to Canada too, because I used to love Radiohead and like, and when you are not in the context, you don't understand. Like you're just kind of like, oh, with a fake plastic, like, oh, that's so beautiful. But then you learn about welfare. They got welfare. They got welfare in Britain. They pay you. You got free healthcare there, and you're crying. What is happening with Tom York? What is he so? And then you understand like the racial complexities, right? Like because in Colombia it's just like we don't do the I am 15th percent 1/4 and 2 millimeters Cherokee. We don't do that. We don't talk about, we're just like everybody's mixed with everybody. So like so when you move here and there's like dissertations on race and like something that I've come to realize that we do a lot in North America, specifically North America and like Canada, it's like we do a lot of like oppression Olympics, So like, it's just kind of like, well, I am more oppressed than you. No, I am more oppressed than you. No, I am more oppressed than you. Therefore, you are not allowed to talk about this because you are a guest on this land and la 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 la. And like you start understanding like all the pain and like all the darkness and like the darkness of Canada. Because when my mom moved us here, she was like, oh, it's better than the US. And I'm like, it seems like it's better than the US, but and something about Canada is that in Canada, you don't know who your enemy is. In the US, you know exactly. So I kind of prefer that, you know, it's just kind of like, it's very blunt, but at least I don't gotta like live in this fantasy that we live in this melting pot with the prime minister that has the good hair. Like I don't.
And the blackface.
Oh, yeah, and many other things, you know. So, yeah, it's just like when you're an immigrant, like you just live so many lives, you know.
You know what I appreciate about you, Lido?
What?
Your honesty. I feel like you're probably one of the most honest individuals really I've ever encountered, and particularly in Canada. I think it was really interesting how earlier during your performance you're like you're fucking with a living legend right now, talking about yourself. And I feel like in Canada there's this this sense of humility where you got to just kind of be like, oh, you know, I just made this little song and you can like it if you want. I don't know. It's okay. Sorry. You know,
I would really appreciate it if you click on the link. I would really love it if you would support my. Believe in yourself. Be proud, you know. But I do think that, I mean, I can't just blame Canada for that or like Canadians, like present day Canadians for that. I feel like that's very much like a colonization thing. Like when the Spaniards came to, you know, colonize Colombia or whatever, like the real name of Colombia, when they came to our territories, the Spaniards were like, oh, these women are naked. The titties are out. Savages, you know. They need to be humble, humiliate themselves under God, you know. Humble in Spanish is humilde. Humiliation in Spanish is humillación, you know. So to me, that's just too close. The humble and the humiliation is like, they're just, those words are just, they work together and they're like a lethal weapon for liberation, self-esteem, self-love, you know. I am respectful, very diplomatic, you know. I practice decorum, you know. Like you're never gonna know if I hate you.
I believe it.
If we have a problem, you're never gonna know. Like, and I will always be very cordial, you know. But I will never be humble, you know, because I will never humiliate myself under anybody, you know. And especially when you have to prove yourself and you have to work yourself or work like 10 times harder, you know, like it can be, you know, a woman, you know, the white woman and the black and the white man, you know. The white woman has to work so much more harder and she has to like fight against all this shit. And then the black or brown woman next to the white woman, she has to, you know, work so much more, you know. It's like we all know these things, you know, but I also feel like when you are in that spectrum and you are at the bottom, if you don't believe in yourself and you don't carry yourself with certain energy, the world is going to eat you up, you know? So that's kind of what I do. Like, it's not like I'm like cocky or whatever, you know. It's just like, I just know that I worked for a long time to get to the level of artistry that I am. So like, I am confident, you know. I'm not conceited. I'm confident, you know. And I think it's really important, especially for the next generations, that we plant those seeds of confidence, you know, so that we, you know, cut this cycle of mediocrity that we have in Canada, you know.
Absolutely. So. I totally agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like, you know, I think that is a part of what, when you really came on the scene, you know, you won the 2017 Polaris Prize. Give it up, you know. And, I feel like you've always been yourself in the public eye, which I think a lot of artists can't say that about themselves. And just after that, there was a thing that happened in Halifax. I don't know. It had the Halifax pop explosion.
Long story short.
Lay it on them.
Long story short, I was feeling myself. It was a festival where they highlight everyone on the bill. We were woman or woman identifying folk performing, and I just thought that it would be nice to have the women come to the front. And then that's it. That's what it was. And then I asked the women of color, quote unquote, to come in front of the white women. And there were like 3, by the way. It was like the capacity was like 1,000, and out of 1,000 people, there were like 4 women of color. Like, it was so sad. And that's why I did it too, and there were like pregnant women and all this stuff. So I was just kind of like, let's just like have some fun. And it was amazing. Everybody loved it. Except this one photographer who, she was white and she wanted to take a photo, and she was like elbowing and kind of being violent. So kind of we stopped for like a second and we told her to chill out. And then the next day, this journalist, quote unquote, who wasn't there, wrote an article about how Lido Piminiteia segregates her audiences. And then that led to Alex Jones doing a piece on how Lido Piminiteia is a menace to white people and how I am racist against white people. And then that led to the Proud Boys, which are like the Toys R Us version of the KKK. They started messaging us saying that they were gonna boycott our show, so we had to hire security.
You were getting death threats as well.
Threats, how to unalive myself instructions, like online vitriol for months. I feel like if you even go to YouTube now, I don't think they've taken all them down, but there's still some that if you write Lido Piminiteia racist on YouTube, there's like so many videos of men mostly being like, oh, let's Google her up. What is her net worth? And then the net worth is like insane because everything online is fake. And then, well, she says that she's black and indigenous, and then the YU people, and then like Google app like a YU person and then put it next to my face. It's like, fake! This is fake! She doesn't look like a YU person. And then that led to Lido Piminiteia faking her identity. Like, it was just so violent, you know. And I also wasn't in the best hands, like management-wise. I didn't have like the best guidance to go through it, because I feel like if that were to happen now, like it would have been such a delicious lawsuit against that guy that wasn't even there, because that is defamation of character, you know? And like he put my life in danger. But the team that I had at the time, they saw it as a great press opportunity, you know, and it was just so toxic, you know. And I feel like that was the beginning of a lot of like the decline in, you know, like my mental health. And like I was just overworked, and like I just like that whole thing about being very confident, like it started being diminished, like that light. Because even though, yeah, like we want to say that social media doesn't affect us, but it does. You know, like it's just like, especially in the world right now, when we like go online and we fight with people, we try to make a point, you know, when you're on the side of the truth, you know. And like I just always say like what I learned from that, instead of fighting with people, like I just start like copy pasting the significance of the word empathy, the significance of, you know, solidarity. Or I will write like lies. What is a lie? And I just, you know, now, you know, I'm shadow banned like all across like all of my social media. But I think I'm gonna move to YouTube after this. I think I'm gonna like take a break from social media, and I'm gonna move to YouTube and do some like some videos and just like share some wisdom, because I do see myself as someone that has a lot of wisdom, that has lived a lot in a very short amount of time.
I just want to key in on something about your experience with this. So at the time, this was like 2017. It was a very unique experience that you went through, where it's like you're getting all these trolls and people are really attacking you. But what happened to you now actually, unfortunately, has become a very common thing that happens to artists and women of color who are writers on the internet, and they become targeted by these groups. But I also, in a weird way, I see a bit of a beauty in what you did in Halifax specifically, when you are saying, you know, women of color come to the front, and it was only a couple who came in front. You saying that it was like a metaphor for like the entire Canadian music scene, like, yo, women of color, come out here, come to the front. And it's what we see now. If you were to go back and play in Halifax now, the show would look way different. And I feel like you're responsible for that in a way. So
I don't think I'm responsible.
Well, I want to give you some props though, because honestly, it's like, I feel like you opened some doors and stuff, and you made it okay for people to be more outspoken. You know, this is Canada. People are like scared to put themselves out there. You know,
I don't know. I think that we've been lied to about this continuous comparison with the USA, that we are so much better, and that we don't have the same problems that they have over there. And I think that makes us really scared to complain. It's kind of like, you should be so grateful for this amazing healthcare that we have in Canada. Universal, right? Because it's universal, right? So we should be so grateful, for the crumbs that we get, when so much money goes to like the cops. It's just kind of like, well, the cops are so useless, it's just like,
well, it's like what you pointed out before, the racism in America is like really in your face. Like as soon as you go to America, it's like racism is just come and hit you in the face right away. Like it's also like not, because like when I'm in the US, like I've been living in New York for the last 3 months for this residency that I'm doing, and like I feel so comfortable. I just blend in. And when I'm in Canada, I feel like I stick out and I make people really nervous. Like some people, they like the energy, but some people are just so threatened by this energy. And I do dress like I'm like a Christmas decoration, but like, it's Christmas. Don't you love Christmas? But sometimes it doesn't matter, because it's like it's the way that I carry myself, and like in Canada we're not taught to like carry ourselves that way, It's also just a lack of understanding too, and just a lack of familiarity. Like in America, there's the black culture is like a lot stronger and more present, and it's more integrated, and it's similar like in England too, like it's integrated in a different way, whereas it feels like here there's, if you go to the middle of Canada, if you go to like Saskatchewan or something, people are like, they just are staring at me the entire time I'm there, literally, and it's not the same when I go to Harlem. People are like, hey man, how's it going?
Yeah, I think it's that same thing that there's no racism in Canada. When you believe that you don't have racism or this idea that in Canada we don't see color, that's the problem, because it should be taught the opposite. We should see color and we should embrace it. So when you're taught that there's no color, and then you're in front of like a black dark-skinned person for the first time, like they don't know what to do, and they feel like their life is threatened or whatever, and it's not everybody, but like generally that's the problem. And then like the audacity to like act like you're not on indigenous land, so it's just like so layered, because we like to cover the sun with a finger in this country. But I also have like a lot of faith, like in my kid. Like my son is 16, and their generation is like amazing. Like I have so much faith in their generation, because like they see everything, and they also like respect themselves so much, and they're so like about their well-being and their wellness, you know. So like, yeah, you're gonna have to figure out how to convince that generation that, you know, they need capitalism, you know, like we were lied to, right? So I feel like I do have hope, you know, and like when I see my kids, like they're so excited, like we have this trip coming up to Iqaluit, and they're so excited, you know, and like, and I'm so excited because I know they're gonna be like, this is just like when we're in Colombia but cold, you know, because that's what it is, you know. So we just share those same histories, and it's just nice to know that even though it feels really painful, the old, you know, old stock Canadian generation, they're dying, you know. They're not gonna be here for a long time, you know, like they're on their last hurrah, you know. So yeah, I'll be happy when that
farewell
happens.
tour.
Farewell tour, you know. Yeah,
I love that. I was just thinking about white privilege.
oh my god.
And I was just thinking about how I had this one friend, and I talked to him about things that would happen in his life. He's just like, yeah, and he's a white man, and he's just like, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. It's like, you know, I'll do something and I won't know what I'm doing, and it just works out. Does that ever happen to you? I'm like, no, that never happens to me. I actually have to work really, really hard every time I do anything. And they're like, yeah, man, it's like, I was walking down the street and a guy came up to me. He was like, hey, I want to give you a book deal. And he was like, he was just a waiter at a restaurant. And I was like, what? I had to work really hard to get a book deal. And eventually he learned about white privilege because he actually didn't know about it before he knew me. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, some people are really lucky in like that, you know, and like, I feel like privilege is such a complex word because like we all have it. I have it because I'm light skinned. The texture of my hair is just, I have afro hair, but like it's like really easy to handle my hair, you know, that I have more privilege, you know. I speak 3 languages. Boom, I have more privilege. I'm in a straight relationship with a straight man who's like incredible, like a unicorn, fantastic man that respects me and loves me and like is totally fine with me living in New York but without him and the kids for 3 months, you know. Boom, privilege, you know. So like I do like to like see all of these instances of privilege like on a like case to case basis. And I understand like the system and who the system is for and who it was made for, but as capitalism is reaching this level of disaster and chaos, I'm even starting to feel bad for white people. Like, oh my God. And we were talking about it back there. She was like, some of you don't even know how to properly wash yourselves. Like you are gonna be living on the island deceased because you didn't learn these things, you know. Like we're gonna have to have more solidarity with the white people, you know. And I just feel like it's important that we all recognize, like, first and foremost, you know, because if I blame everything on white privilege, I'm gonna drive myself insane. Like I can't, you know, and I refuse to be living under the shadow of white privilege, you know, like I refuse to be a victim. I refuse, you know, and I know it's always there. And I know, especially with my music, like my music, I'm like, I feel like it's like brilliant, sublime, you know, but I will never be Taylor Swift. You know what I'm saying? Like Beyonce will never be Taylor Swift, you know? So these are things that are there, but I also feel like as people of color or whatever, we have this responsibility of going beyond that and like understanding that is there, but like acting and loving ourselves so much that we are just going to do everything without even considering that, because we have so much tradition and culture that I feel like that's where I'm at right now. Like, I'm not worried about white people. I don't care about what they're doing. I don't know. There might be selling whatever they're selling. I don't care. You know, I don't, unless it's free for me. If any white designers in the room.
You don't care about whether or not they're washing or...
I do. I do. They need to come correct. But like, I just feel like I like it. I have a lot of beautiful, amazing white friends, you know, and we work together. I have a lot of white people in my team, you know, that I work with, you know, and like, I just feel like you have to find your tribe, and you have to, it doesn't matter like their background, you know, like you have to have respect, because I also feel like it hurts brown people of color, et cetera, when we romanticize the experience of blackness or indigeneity, that we all get along and that we are all kumbayaing together. No! I have enemies that are just like me. They are designed with the same DNA as me, and I hate them, you know? So I just feel like that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I think that that's so real. Like, it's like, why do I have to like, no, like, I feel like I'm beyond that at this point, because I've just traveled so much, and
we contain multitudes.
We are a multitude, you know, we are multitudes, you know, so like, I mean, I'm still not like, you're not off the hook, white people. You're off the hook. You're not off the hook.
Let's give it up for white people for a second. You know, like,
give it up for the good. Give it up for the white people here.
I've got some great white people in my life and on my team.
Yes.
So big shout out to you guys.
Yeah. So
I just wanted to ask you. You've been in New York. What have you been doing in New York? I think you've been doing something kind of cool.
I applied to this artist residency for ceramics.
Ceramics?
Yeah. Well, I have like a whole visual arts practice. And like in an ideal world, I would do like music for 6 months and visual art for 6 months. I'm like slowly getting to that point. I've been, the last 2.5 years have been very chaotic for me. So I also, like, I've never lived alone. You know, I never lived by myself. Because I became a mom really young. So I don't have the experience of like discovering who I am in my 20s. No, I had to figure it out because I gave my birth to my son and I had to raise him by myself. And I always lived with roommates or with family, or even if it was just me, I was always with my son, you know. So my baby daddy number 2, Brandon Valdivia, aka Masaya, the best artist in the world. He, yes, Brandon, yes. He encouraged me to take a break because I've been going through some pretty heavy, like, legal stuff, like, just very, very, like, complicated music industry cliche stuff. And I just needed a break because I was having very like dark thoughts. So going there, it was just like, I'm just gonna be in a studio with other artists, and like ceramic artists, like they're so self-absorbed. It's amazing. No one knows who you are. No one cares. Like, they're just obsessed with clay, and that's the environment that I needed to be in for 3 months. And I've made amazing friendships. Like, I've like that's what so it's been like really good for my soul, because like I love to talk and like TMI, you know, but like if I have to TMI with one person, aka a therapist, like I can't do that. I cannot, you know. It's like, it makes me really nervous. So I need to be like around artists, you know, and just like do my thing. So it's been really healing. It's been really nice.
Why does it make you nervous just with one person?
I don't know. I just feel like I'm naked. Like I don't like people touching me. that I don't know, like not like a hug, but like touching in like a massage. Like people will spend like they'll pay someone $100 an hour to be rubbed down, you know, but I'm like, I don't know you. Like, why? Like to me personally, like I have a problem with people that I don't know getting in there, you know, like it's just like it's also like my own trauma, you know. So it's very hard to be like one-on-one with a stranger, you know, and I think that's like the whole point. So you can have like a unbiased opinion, but like I can't, like I have to talk to people that I trust, that I love, you know, and like to me that's my friends, you know, and like even like I'm wearing this brand called Nor Black Nor White. I think, yeah, you're wearing Nor Black Nor White because you know, great minds. And like the people that create this brand, like I met them in Toronto, and they're like Toronto and they have their stuff in India. They're like Indian girls that grew up here in Mississauga, and they we just work together. We like bring each other, like I wear their stuff, like we like do stuff together. Like I have so many friends that are so like creative, and that's just kind of, that's my therapy, you know. It's just like real friendship, you know, chosen family, you know. So that's what I'm doing in New York, just like relaxing, taking a breather so that I can come back and finish my new music for next year.
Nice. Would you like to talk about the new music at all?
Yeah, I can. I am working on something, like the premise of it is like if Enya went to the Caribbean and she partied with, you know, black people and brown people in carnival, what kind of music would she make after that experience? So I'm kind of thinking like, because like now dembo or reggaeton like is so popular. It's just so popular. It's just kind of like you buy 2 cups of coffee and they give you a reggaeton beat, you know. It's just like everywhere. So I was like, what would happen if I propose a new type of dembo? So I'm kind of calling it like new age dembo, you know. So that's what I'm making right now.
Wow, that's like an amazing elevator pitch. Like I want to hear that really bad. That's fire. Yeah,
it's a lot of orchestral arrangements. It's gonna be a double album, because on 2021 I made music for the New York City Ballet Orchestra, and now the music is back to being mine. I had all the help and assistance and brilliance of Owen Pallett, who was here
my last guest.
Yeah, and we've been like continuing to work on this music. And then I'm working with some producers, like some Chicano producers. They're called Grupo GGG or Grupo GGG. Oh, you know Grupo GGG? There you go. And they make like slowed down cumbia or cumbia rebajada. So we've been working together. So it's like really interesting because I'm just kind of like, here is some harp and angelical voices. What are you going to do with it? And then I'm working with one of my oldest collaborators, Chancha Villa Circuito, or Pedro Canale. He's this Argentinian amazing producer. He's kind of like the father of the hippies. Like all of the hippie producers want to be like him. And I'm also working with Jose Olivares. He's known as Amigos Poderosos from this Puerto Rican band called Balloon. And they do like dream pop dembo. So all of us together from like very different regions of the Caribbean and the diaspora are just like working. And I'm in London, Ontario in my computer. And and we just like share Ableton files back and forth. But it's been great because when I contacted them, I was just like, you can send me a beat, but I call the shots, okay? Like I am gonna open your project and I am gonna make the changes that I want. And they're like, yeah, whatever you want. So it's been really nice because we're like really getting to know each other's production styles and stuff. And I think it's gonna be really good because the one side is orchestral, like very sublime, beauty, cinematic. And that started with the thought of, I feel like I make electronic avant-garde experimental music, you know, like, but if you go to a store where they sell records, you're gonna find me in the world music aisle, which I find it insulting, you know. So I was like, I am gonna make classical music now, motherfuckers. I want to see where you're gonna put that album in, you know. And then the whole legal crap that I'm going through started, so like that got delayed. But then I kept making music on the road and stuff, and then that's when like the whole what if Enya went to the Caribbean kind of music started, and now it's gonna be this double thing that I hope that I can finish it. Shout out to Factor.
We love Factor.
Toronto Arts Council.
We love them all.
Who else? Ontario Arts Council. Who else? Ontario Creates. Okay, that's everyone. Yeah,
we love
they've
them
been
all.
so patient with me, like giving me extensions after extension, and like being super understanding of my process and the behind the scenes drama that I've been dealing with for a long time now. And it's just such a blessing to have that. And like, it's very sad too, because I feel like we are about to lose a lot of the funding. I feel like that's like where we're going. I feel like we're gonna go, whoever we have to choose in this country, no matter what, a politician is a politician. And like, every year we have to pick between drinking our pee or eating our crap, you know, like, or eating our poo. Like, that's the choice. It's like, you're gonna drink your pee or you're gonna eat your poop. Like, what is it? And I feel like the next guy, which Voldemort, we'll call him Voldemort. He's gonna be even worse than the guy that we have now. And yeah, like, I feel like it's so important that you support artists. Like, come to our shows, buy our merch, listen to our music, because we are gonna go. We're going to what the states is at, you know, like, they don't get a bunch of grants and stuff, and like, hopefully, you know, we get all this funding back, but like, it's getting really dire. Things are changing. Yeah. Things are getting really serious. It's getting really real out here. So people
don't know, but yes, we could be hitting a very dark period for Canadian culture. So,
yeah.
I did want to point out one thing that you said before. Just the way I find a lot of artists and artists I know, when you ask them, hey, so like, what are you working on? They're just like, I don't know. But you did this absolutely incredible description of what you were making that was very like lucid, and I could really picture it. But not only that, it sounded like unlike anything that exists now. How do you come to a conclusion to make? You're like, I'm gonna make this Enya in the Caribbean. Like how do you get to that point?
Because I'm obsessed with Enya.
Why are you obsessed with Enya?
I just that's who I aspire to be. Like, I feel like I get compared to Bjork a lot, you know, and I met her. She invited me to one of her shows, and we were like chilling with her, and I can tell you we're very different people.
How so?
I don't know. She's like a Nordic bitch, and I'm like a Caribbean bitch, you know, like, it's just like, that's what it is.
I think we've got an album title for you.
Yeah, that's the next
Nordic bitch.
The next collab
Caribbean
with Bjork.
Bitch.
Yeah. And I think like people don't listen to enough music to give me other comparisons, you know, and it's a great honor to be compared to the great, you know, Bjork, you know. But I feel like I am more like Enya, because like Bjork, she rolls with like the coolest, hippest gays, you know. My gays.
Oh shit.
You don't watch Sex and the City because you're not a real gay. All right? Your closet is like the brightest color that you have is like olive green, okay? So you're a different kind of gay, you know. And Enya, she like lives in like a freaking castle. She like minds her own business. She doesn't give you interviews. She doesn't go on tour. Like, you don't know anything about Enya. And her music is just like layers upon layers upon layers upon layers upon layers. And it's just like so many harmonies, so many vocals. Like, I really like I like that, and I aspire to be like that. She's like the richest woman in music.
Yeah, low key.
She really is, and like she figured it out, you know. And like I just feel like, can you imagine like you wake up and you like one day you were like, let it be, and then they put that in a movie and she's like, I don't gotta work no more. Like, you know, like Bjork works. You know, I don't want to work. I worked enough.
Do you want a castle?
Yes. Don't you want a castle?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, definitely.
So and because I knew, and I also knew that people were going to be like, oh, Lido's making orchestral music because the only person that has done it before is Bjork, right? So I already know. So I'm just like, no. Look at Enya because it's like you will find the similarities in with her. I find that more than with the great iconic legend Bjork. So, but I feel like Bjork has influenced so many people of my generation. But I feel like I just know what I'm doing because I have kids. I've given birth twice and I'm raising my nephew, you know, like I don't have time to fuck around. I don't have time to figure out who I am. I don't have time because I have to take the kids to school, you know. So everything that I do, it has to be intentional. Everything that I do, it has to have a beginning, a middle, and an end. It's not like I don't have space for experimentation or demos or whatever. I always have my sketchbook with me, but I have to figure it out. So when I put something out, you know, because I am not a mainstream artist, I will never be a mainstream artist. Like, I am actually going lower than mainstream and lower than whatever I am right now because I'm being shadow banned all across the board. You know, like no one wants my voice out there because of the stuff that I sing about. It's so scary. You know, it's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a career. I don't know if the album will even be allowed. I don't even know what's going to happen.
What makes you feel like that you're shadow banned?
Darling, look at the news.
Well, yeah.
Right? It's just like in the world that we're living in, like, you can't say peace without being called anti-Semitic, you know, like it's like really crazy, you know, and it's just like, I really commend all of my Jewish friends that are like very, very like using their voice and saying not in my name, you know, because like they are helping me like cope, you know. And it's like, this is like the stuff that the behind the scenes beauty of like people of faith when we get together and we're like seeing how we can work against all odds and work together to like find some solace in things that we can't control, you know, because it's so out of control. So it's like, that's kind of like, I'm just kind of like, I have to take care of my kids. I still have to pay for their universities and I have to continue to work, you know, like I don't have colonial wealth. Like I have to work and I have to find a way that I can still be truthful and say the truth and talk about my lived experience, which is not all rosy. But I still have to take care of my children because I live in a capitalistic society, you know? So that's kind of where I'm at, you know? So I don't know what's going to happen. Like I might get canceled. I might get fully blocked out of my accounts. Like it, and I don't even feel like I'm even that like outspoken or anything, you know? So
well, I feel like just the fact that you're so yourself and you're so honest. I feel like that doesn't go out of style, you know? And I feel like time and time again, you're ahead of the curve, not only musically, but also culturally. You know, I feel like it's one of those things where you're this guiding light. And
oh, I know, you know, darling, I am on all of the mainstream girlies mood boards. Like, I know this. Like, I have friends who work for, let's not say their names, but they work for some major artists.
You can say that.
No, we won't. But there's some major artists and they are like, girl, we're in the meeting and you're in the mood board. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not surprised. And like
I'm
the major artists, you know, that it's like, I mean, the good thing is like my friends, my designer friends, composer friends, producer friends, mixers, they're getting poached by this major artists that like won't even look in my direction, but have their teams looking at what I'm doing, you know, like, so I feel like that's why I protect my work so much. I am very aware that my work is never going to go in that upper echelon. Like my work is never going to reach those like mainstream levels because of, like, if I change the themes, like if I keep the same beats and music, but instead of singing about land back, I sing about, I want my boyfriend back, I would be mainstream. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just what I'm singing about. You know, it's not even because I sing in Spanish. That used to be true maybe 12 years ago. But now it doesn't matter if I sing in Spanish. It's what I'm saying. You know, like there's a new song that I'm writing and it's like a play on La Isla Bonita. La Isla Bonita, which translates to the beautiful island, you know. And to me, it's just like, is that Puerto Rico? Is Madonna talking about Puerto Rico? Because the plight of Puerto Rico, it's so near and dear to my heart, because like Puerto Rico is gentrified beyond. And like anytime there's a hurricane that happens, it's like the USA developers, they love that because they start buying all of this land and like pushing people. It's the same story in Hawaii. It's the same story in Colombia. It's the same story in so many like tropical Caribbean places, Haiti, you know.
Palestine.
Yes. So for me, I'm kind of like in this plight for, you know, showcasing the Caribbean as sublime, not exotic, because like I feel like that's my role in the world. I'm singing this song about, I say, váyanse de mi casa, váyanse de mi isla bonita, váyanse de mi playa, váyanse de mi isla bonita. Which I'm saying like, get out of my beach, get out of my house, get out of my isla bonita. You know, and I'm saying that, and the beat goes so hard, like it's so crazy. The production is insane, but I don't know if a radio or is gonna play that, because I'm basically saying, yeah, come visit me, come visit, but don't stay because you're pushing indigenous people out of their land. Like, that's it. Like, that's all we're saying. It's just like, yes, enjoy. Earth is for all of us. But if you're gonna come and you're gonna build a gated community and gonna cut the access to the beach, we're gonna have a problem, you know? So that's what my album is about. It's not about being a brat. You know, and I love her, and I think she's so fierce, and I love her music.
Her with you.
You know, I love her. I think she's amazing. The Charlie, she's so I love her. I love her.
I love her too.
But I don't have that in me. You know, like
why don't you just do the, you know, it's like Love Me Do type of, why aren't you able to do that?
Because singing for men is so beyond, like, beneath me, like. It's just so like, there's enough songs about that. It's just enough songs. And unfortunately, you know, a lot of protest songs by my generation, I'm not gonna say any names, but some of these songs are not hitting, and some of these songs are very macho. You know, it's just like, land back now, it's just like, okay, we need to feminize this a little bit. Let me give you a little bit of feminine into this call, you know, like, yes, everything you're saying, but like every single song you're screaming like, where's nuance? You know, so that's kind of where I'm at. Like, that's my favorite music. Like, I love reggae and dancehall. I love metal, and like metal, you know, it's like very about that life, you know. It's just like, not all the bands, a lot of metal is very racist, but the one that I listen to is not. And that's the thing, you know, it's just like, why am I going to do this thing that everybody else is doing? It's the easy route. You know, and like, so what I'm deciding now is like, what I'm going to do is that I will become, and I'm already starting to become a ghostwriter for the girlies, you know, and like a lot of them not a lot, but I'm starting to get like the girlies in Latin America, the mainstream girlies are starting to DM me because they want to start making real music. And I think one of the very few silver linings of the genocide that we're living right now in front of our eyes is that a lot of artists are waking up and they want to become a part of a movement that is fighting for freedom, and then they're looking at me and they're like, I want to make a real song, and I'm like, yes, of course. So that's like really beautiful, you know, for me, that like I'm never gonna be, you know, Taylor Swift, you know, but I might write a song for her one day, you know, like you never know, or someone like that in that vicinity, whatever. I don't like Taylor Swift. I think she's very problematic. That's not a good example, but like I can see myself writing a song for Ariana Grande, like, you know, like I feel like that would be really cute. And like I started working with, and I see the possibility thanks to Nelly Furtado, the legend, the icon, the real Nelly. She's been teaching me, you know, how to make peace with the mainstream and how to use my voice like to the best potential or my highest potential. So working with her and being in that mainstream universe, it like, there is a space for me here. Like they do embrace like the freaks like me, you know. So I'm just like learning to be a little bit more open-minded. I'm learning to be a little bit more patient. I'm learning to just like have more like grace even for people that I wouldn't have grace for, you know, because it's like I'm just so exhausted of fighting and like screaming and saying, like I'm just like I just feel like I have to figure out a way to like work with whatever we got and the people who are willing to like listen, you know. If you don't want to listen, then go ahead. But there's a lot of people that want to listen. They just have been misinformed. And I feel like there's hope.
That's amazing. I have one last question for you. If you could change anything about the Canadian music industry, what would it be?
I mean, I can't tell anyone how to do their art. I can't tell anybody how to do their art. I feel like everyone has to do their own thing. I just feel like I would say don't hoard opportunities away from Indigenous people. That's what I would say. I would say just because you can, it doesn't mean that you should hoard like opportunities that should be going to other people. So for instance, like there's so many festivals and things that more Indigenous people should be getting booked and they don't get booked. So I feel like we should make an effort, like a real effort into opening those spaces for the actual like ancestors of this land, you know, because like taste is subjective, you know. It's just like there's a lot of Canadian stuff that I'm just kind of like, it's garbage, like but a lot of people like it, you know, like that's just like my personal. But I feel like in the Canadian industry, like we are very segregated. Canada is very segregated. We're very separated as a nation. It's a huge, vast land, and like there's so many good Quebecois artists, and we don't even know, you know, like because there's a language barrier. It's just like, how is it that people here still don't know how to speak French, or like weird French they speak in Quebec? Like that's weird. I just find that that's weird, you know. It's just like you're right there. Like the train is like 5 hours. Like you don't, you know. But then they have to learn English, you know. So like, and that's why there's like that whole thing is like we want to separate, you know. And like, you know, the power to them, you know. It's just like everyone can feel however they feel. But I just feel like if we want to have like a real scene, like because I don't feel like we can compete internationally. Like it's just like it's so crazy that in Latin America, where they're -0 resources, so many artists come out of Colombia, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like, how are people doing that, and why can't we do that here in Canada? You know, it's just like we don't really support one another, and sometimes we tend to support people just because they're our friends, but we're not being real with the art that we're putting out, and we're very we tend to just be very, I don't want to see that we're mediocre. I just feel like in Canada, because we're under the impression that we are so much better or way well off than the States or other countries, we don't dig deeper into our art. Like we don't dive into the work. Like we just like we're conformists. We're very conformist, you know. It's just like when I moved here, and a lot of people didn't even have a passport. You know, they'll be like, I don't have a passport. You don't travel? Like, but you have a Canadian passport. Like with my Colombian passport, I have to ask for so many visas to go into so many countries, you know. But I feel like that's just the culture of just like, we're okay. So I don't have to dig deep, and I don't have to like do more research, and I don't have to like go really for it, you know. So, and just to wrap it up, you know, there's a lot of amazing, fantastic artists that don't get the opportunity to do their work because they have to pay their rent.
Absolutely.
You know?
I think the takeaway is if you have an artist in your life, if you have an artist that you love in Canada, you know, go home and buy something of theirs, buy a ticket, go to a show, buy an album, because we're going to need it coming up.
Yeah, like it's fine if you don't smoke this week.
Yeah. Take off vaping for a week and support a Canadian artist. And with that, thank you very much, Lido Piminiteia, everyone. And so, yes, we're gonna kick it for a little bit. I'm gonna DJ with Automatic Amore, Diana McNally. We're gonna kick it for a bit. Yeah, that's The Entertainer. Thank you so much. Let's hang.
Thank you, Cadence.